Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Straight to Blu-ray. My name is James, and I know it has been a while since I posted, over a month since I posted my last video. Been a lot of things going on. I did survive both the hurricanes. I do live in Florida, in Tampa, so I made it through the hurricanes. There was a lot of other stuff kind of going on, so unfortunately, I was unable to post anything really too much. Well, anything at all, really, for the past over a month. But I am back. I've got another video for you today. This is going to be a continuation on my top 10 movie by year series. The last one I left off with was 1991, my top 10 movies of 91. So in this video, I'm going to be going over my top 10 movies of 1992. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the video. Like I said, good to be back. I'm not going to go over all the details on everything that's been going on because it's just long and boring, and you're here for movies, so I'm not gonna go into all that detail. But everything's back to normal. Everything is good. So glad to be back with another video, doing what I love, enjoying movies. Like I said, this is going to be my top 10 movies of 1992. Obviously, this list is subjective. So your top movies of 1992 are going to be different than my top movies of 1992, unless, hey, maybe we're secret soulmates and we have the exact same top 10. Highly unlikely, but yeah. So let's go ahead and get into my number 10 movie of 1992. This one is got a lot of great acting and emotional roles. I'm just kidding. It has none of that. But it is a cool action movie. This is, like I said, this is one of those, it's one of those ones you kind of have to turn your mind off. Just a good popcorn movie. I'm talking about the ever great actor Steven Seagal, and that is going to be in Under Siege, the original. This is my number 10 movie of 1992. Like I said, just a cool movie, cool action movie. You got to suspend disbelief a little bit with a, super badass guy working as a cook on a naval ship. But they try to explain it off a little bit. But, it's a cool, Tommy Lee Jones does a really good job in this movie. And of course, you got Gary Busey acting crazy before he became crazy in real life. So that was always good. So I thought it was, a cool action movie. So yeah, number 10 on my top 10 movies of 1992 is going to be Under Siege. All right, coming in at number 9 is going to be a movie I really like, although I haven't seen it in a while. This one does have a good actor in it, Harrison Ford. This is part of his Jack Ryan or series of movies playing Jack Ryan, and this one is going to be Patriot Games. I'm trying not to get the glare here, but Patriot Games, this is the 4K edition. Like I said, really love these. Most of the Jack Ryan movies I really like. I think I like Harrison Ford playing him the best. I think it's him. Ben Affleck has played him, and then Chris Pike. Not Chris Pike. I don't remember his name. The one from Star Trek. I think Chris Pike was the character in Star Trek. But anyway, it's Sergeant Contreras' son from Chips. Anyway, but I really like these, the Jack Ryan movies. This is definitely a cool one. Patriot Games, like I said, Harrison Ford. Really can't go wrong with Harrison Ford. I don't think I've seen really too many bad Harrison Ford movies. So yeah, number 9 is going to be Patriot Games. Man, that glare really wants to stick in there. All right, moving on to number 8 on the list. And there's a bit of a theme here with the upper half, at least, of the top 10. This is another really cool action movie. I don't know if this got a ton of love. Maybe back in the day, it was kind of, it was never hugely successful, but it's definitely a cool movie. I always enjoyed it. This is going to be, well, you don't really see probably too many of these since 9/11 because it's a hijacking movie, but this has got Wesley Snipes, and I am talking about Passenger 57. Like I said, another just kind of cool action movie. Another one where you really have to suspend disbelief on this one. But I really enjoyed it. I can't remember the name of the guy who played the bad guy in it, but he just played like the creepiest looking bad guy. There's just like people who just, when you look at them, they just look like a creepy bad guy. And the dude in this one, like I said, I don't know his name offhand, but he definitely played a really creepy bad guy. So yeah, number 8 on my top 10 of 92 is going to be Wesley Snipes in Passenger 57. All right, coming in at number 7. Well, I guess this has some action in it, technically, but not the hardcore, super action you've seen in some of these other movies, or maybe in some of the other ones, to come on my list. This is a sequel, definitely not as good as the first one, but I thought it was pretty good in its own right. Of course, I am talking about the Christmas well, not, I wouldn't say Christmas classic, but a good Christmas movie. And that is going to be Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. When you come to find out his parents are really terrible at parenting, I guess. So yeah, Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. Like I said, it moved. He was in Chicago the first time, moves to New York, so he's kind of got, some different things to do, and to get into trouble with. If I think if the first movie, the end where all his contraptions and gadgets were kind of unrealistic, I think part two really takes the unrealistic level to another level. But it's still a cool, little fun movie. It's just one of those ones you can go back, on Christmas and you just kind of watch, each Christmas and never get tired of it. So yeah, the next movie on my list is Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. All right, coming in at number 6 is, you guessed it, an action movie. I guess I'm just a sucker for a good action movie. This one is the third, so it's the part 3 in the series of 4, although I heard they are doing 5. And this is going to be Mel Gibson, Danny Glover, and that is going to be Lethal Weapon 3, the one down here. It's just like a 4-pack, but Lethal Weapon 3, I just thought is a cool, really cool one. They introduced Joe Pesci in the second one, and then this is the one where they introduce Rene Russo as the love interest for Mel Gibson. I just think, all those characters kind of combine really, it's like they didn't just do the same thing in the first one. They introduced other people, and those characters all kind of worked. It worked in part 2 with Joe Pesci. It works in part 3 with Rene Russo added in. So I thought it was really good. I'm surprised that at least for this is the first Lethal Weapon, that we haven't got any 4K on this or any of these. I mean, they're fairly popular action movies, but for whatever reason, no 4K. So you just got the Blu-ray. Like I said, this is the 4-pack. I did hear they're doing a 5. We'll see. I mean, if Murtaugh was too old for this back in like 1989, Jesus, what was that, like 30-something years ago? Like, now he's really going to be old. And the sad thing is I think I'm 8 years older than he was when he said he was too old for this stuff. So now I feel even older. But yeah, so coming in at number 6 is going to be Lethal Weapon 3. All right, coming in at number 5, this is one of the 2 movies I don't have in my of the 10 movies in my top 10 collection. This is going to be the sequel to the 1989 Batman. That's going to be Batman Returns. I thought this was a really good movie. I don't have the Batmans anymore. I used to, and I sold them. I need to get those back. But I thought this was a really good movie. Not quite as good as the first one. I mean, Jack Nicholson as the Joker was definitely, I think it seems like when most people play the Joker, it's just, I don't know. I guess that role, people usually do a really good job with it. Obviously, Heath Ledger. And then, Joaquin Phoenix, although I didn't see that Joker sequel, but apparently it's not worth seeing. And then Jared Leto also played him. But yeah, I thought he did a good job in that first one, really good job. So it's kind of hard to, go on from a sequel to that. But this is where they introduce Catwoman and, of course, the Penguin, who's played by Danny DeVito. I thought both were really kind of cool characters, especially Danny DeVito. I mean, I don't know if you could have got a more perfect Penguin. Kind of short, just the build worked perfectly. I thought he did a really good job on that one. I'm not the biggest Batman fan. To be honest, I'm not the biggest DC universe other really than Superman. I'm not the biggest. I enjoy Marvel, I would say, more. But this is obviously way back before we were making superhero movies all the time. So definitely a really cool movie. So yeah, coming in at number 5 is going to be Batman Returns. All right, coming in at number 4 is going to be one this is a goofy comedy. It's one of those Saturday Night Live skits that they have turned into a movie. They're not always the most successful, but this one is. It did spawn a sequel. This might be the only Saturday Night Live skit that actually has a sequel to it. So obviously, I may be wrong here, but I can't think of any off the top of my head. But I always thought this was kind of just a really funny comedy. This has got Mike Myers and Dana Carvey. Of course, I'm talking about Wayne's World. This is the 4K edition of Wayne's World, which I haven't checked out yet. I need to. But just really love this movie. Of course, you've got Tia Carrere in this one and Rob Lowe. And it just, I guess it can be hard to take a little sketch comedy on SNL and then turn it into an hour and a half, 2-hour movie, but they did a really good job on this one. It was funny throughout. Of course, you got the famous Bohemian Rhapsody singing, a song in the car with the 2 of them and the other 2 guys who I, for the life of me, couldn't tell you their names in the movie. But definitely an iconic kind of scene. So yeah, it just kind of worked. Like I said, it spawned a Wayne's World 2, so I don't think there's any other SNLs that had a sequel, but leave me a comment down below if there were, and I just don't know it. So yeah, coming in at number 4, my top 10 of 1992 is Wayne's World. All right, and coming in at number 3 is going to be the other movie that I do not have the physical movie, physical copy on. I did have it, and I got rid of it. I need to get it back. This is the story of a lot of movies out there. But number 3 is going to be a really good movie. Definitely, I mean, iconic. You know, when you talk about like iconic lines in movies, this has one of them, one of the most famous. And I am talking, of course, about A Few Good Men. This, of course, has Tom Cruise in it, Demi Moore, and Jack Nicholson. Of course, Jack Nicholson, you know, You Can't Handle the Truth, is definitely one of the most, probably most iconic movie lines in history. Obviously, there's some others, but just a really, really good suspense movie, you know, going through that trial and then kind of seeing everything that, you know, that went on there. Of course, Jack Nicholson always does a good job. Tom Cruise, you know, I know he does a lot of action, you know, a lot of the Mission Impossible. But this is back when he was still doing a lot of, you know, kind of character acting. I thought it was a really good job. I thought Demi Moore did a great job in this as well. Kind of the love interest, but not love interest, you know, just kind of like, you know, I think a lot of movies would go to that, like, oh, it's the man and the woman. They must, you know, have a romantic thing, but they really, you know, she's kind of adamant, like, nah, dude, you know, I just want to focus on this, you know, this case. So that's kind of good. Definitely different for a movie. And then what's his name from Footloose, and Kevin Bacon does a good job in this one, although he doesn't have a huge role, I would say, in this. It's more, you know, Tom Cruise, Demi Moore. I think Kevin Pollak is the other one that's the third kind of member of that team is in there. So just a really, really great movie. Can't go wrong with this one. So yeah, number 3 on my list is going to be A Few Good Men. All right, coming in at number 2, down to my top 2 movies of 1992. This one is just a hilarious movie. It's one of those ones I could watch over and over again. And it's one of those, like, I don't recall. I mean, I guess Joe Pesci had done something comedic before with Lethal Weapon 2, which I believe obviously was before this because Lethal Weapon 3 came out this year. But, you know, it's just more when he's getting into the comedy, and he just kills it in this one. Of course, I am talking about My Cousin Vinny. Joe Pesci, you've got Marissa Tomei, and then you've also got Ralph Macchio as his cousin, Vinny. And, you know, just a great movie. Like I said, the whole dynamic between Marissa Tomei and Joe Pesci is just hilarious. The whole, you know, kind of fish out of water. They're like super New York. I think they were from Brooklyn. I can't remember. But like, I mean, it was just like stereotypical New Yorkers, and then in like stereotypical, you know, Alabama, I think is where they were. Just like the complete opposite, you know, worlds. It was just hilarious in this one. I thought everybody did a good job. I love the judge in this one. I can't remember his name. Just played that role perfectly as like that Southern judge. Just an amazing movie. Like I said, Ralph Macchio's in this one, but you know, I think he's kind of an afterthought. Him and the other guy, you know, obviously they're on trial, but they're more of an afterthought. But definitely a hilarious movie. Like I said, one of those ones you can just watch kind of over and over again. So yeah, number 2 on my top 10 movies of 1992 is My Cousin Vinny. All right, coming in at number 1, this is my top movie of 1992. Really love this movie. It was part of a set on 4K that just got its individual release on 4K, so I was happy about that. Definitely one of my favorite sports movies of all time. There's a few that could kind of alternate, you know, being my favorite depending on, I guess, my mood or whatever. But this is definitely one of my favorite sports movies of all time. This, of course, has Tom Hanks, Gina Davis, and I am talking about A League of Their Own. This, like I said, is the 4K edition. It was part of that Columbia Classics Volume 1. That was the only way you could get it for the longest time, but now they have recently, within the past month or two, it's come out for its individual 4K release. Just really love this movie. You know, obviously, it's based on the women's baseball team that took place during World War II when all the guys were overseas fighting the war. Just a great movie. It's a great story. And then, you know, Tom Hanks, just his whole character, as Tom Hanks always does, an amazing job in this one. Just love the story. You know, it's got the suspense if they're going to win or not. You know, the actual story about telling. Obviously, it's based. I don't think it's based on a true story. There was a professional baseball league by women, but I don't think the story that went along with this that was completely like a Hollywood type story. Just the fact that it was the actual women's baseball team existed was pretty much the only, I think, thing. that really was real about it. Although I do think at the very end when they show them kind of playing baseball, I'm pretty sure those were some of the actual women that played in the baseball league. So if you watch it to the very end, you'll see some of the actual players. But just that story, there's a lot of comedy in it. John Lovitz does a great job, even though he's only in like the beginning portion of the movie getting the players. I thought he was hilarious in this too. So you got the funny part, you got the sad stuff. You know, when the one player finds out her husband was killed, it's, so it's kind of, it's got like all the emotions, I guess you could say, in this one. So yeah, definitely one of, if not my favorite sports movies and my top movie of 1992. And that is A League of Their Own. All right, everybody, that is going to do it for this video. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what some of your favorite movies of 1992 are, or what you thought of my list, or you can just comment anything you'd like down below. And as always, everybody, thank you so much for watching, and I will see y'all in the next video.